What's going on, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Field Vision. I'm your host, Bryan Clinton, contributor over to OUinsider.com. And tonight we're continuing the Field Vision series of freshman study that we've been doing, taking a look at some film on some of the incoming freshmen for Oklahoma's 2024 class that should be instant contributors for Oklahoma. And tonight we're talking about David Stone, five-star defensive lineman, out of Del City, Oklahoma, Bradenton, Florida, whenever he was at IMG Academy. Special athlete, very special athlete, jumps right off the film at you. Doesn't take long to understand that Oklahoma got a special player in Stone and a guy that is going to contribute for the Sooners pretty quick. I believe he's going to have some growing pains just from the sense of putting on essentially 20 or 30 pounds in his first year, but do think once he gets used to that and is able to continue moving with the speed and explosiveness that he does have, it's going to be a really special player for the Sooners. So let's take a look at a couple of plays here in his highlight reel from his senior year. First thing you're going to notice is the sheer size. I mean, he's just a big dude. He's 6'4", 285 in high school. He's probably closer to 300 pounds right now. I would expect whenever he shows up for fall camp to be somewhere around the 300, 305 pound mark, which is, that's ideal for his age. I would expect him probably to top out somewhere in that 310, 315 range, unless he is able to project more on that frame, which by all means, if you can continue to move, the heavier you are, as long as you maintain that athleticism, typically it's a good thing, especially when you're inside the tackles, which I expect him to be at Oklahoma. But the speed with which he moves, 90 here on the edge, obviously, it's pretty incredible for an athlete of his size to move the way that he does. And that combination of speed, size, and length for a player of his stature is why he measured at what he did, or why he rated as what he did coming out of high school. So pretty quickly you realize that his length, being able to long arm and extend away from offensive linemen at the high school level, was really what made him nearly impossible to block. He was able to not only get into an offensive lineman quickly, but he was able to extend and move the line of scrimmage backwards pretty quickly. And so as he progresses and grows into his new role at Oklahoma, that's going to be a little more difficult, obviously, because he's matched up against athletes of his pedigree almost every week in the SEC. But I still do expect him to be a guy that is able to find a way of being disruptive the way that he was in high school. There are just things that Stone shows the ability to do that just some guys just don't have. When you are the size that you are and you're able to perform a spin or a swim move this quickly, when it's hard for me to catch it, and he's already moved in on the quarterback, that is special. That is truly special. So things to notice with Stone just right off the bat. As I said, the size and the speed is pretty easy. Pretty easily pops off the tape. He has very strong hands, heavy hands. Somebody that moves. He moves offensive linemen when he strikes them. But he's not just a strong guy. You've seen him move with some finesse too. As we're watching him here return an interception for 90-plus yard touchdown. The speed is there, obviously gassed there near the end. I would be too. But the finesse with which he's able to move at times as well is really what separates him from some of the other guys around him. So pretty quickly, like right here, this is just another example. He makes this guard right here looks silly, just trying to get a hand on him, and he's in the backfield making plays, and that's even with a guy smaller than him. And so it's just tough to block a guy that has the tools that he does. He's able to get skinny here, control this gap without even really having to hold his ground, and he's able to explode through there and make a play. So it just pops off the film time and time again that he's the first guy in the backfield. He's able to stride out and get back there pretty quickly, but you also, again, there's that swim move again, and it's quick. This is against a guy that's bigger than he is. 75's bigger than Stone there, and he's able to move quickly, get around, and this coach up here on the sidelines, the opposing coach up here on the sidelines, is up here next to the down marker. The surrender cobra and then down on a knee kind of just tells you everything you need to know about that play. Stone is just a guy that it really doesn't matter how you draw it up. He is the perfect example of why Jimmys and Joes are the ones that matter more than X's and O's, because there's just not very many David Stones out there. That's just the truth of it. So as we kind of watch through some of these plays, if you notice pretty quickly, if you followed Oklahoma for any amount of time, you also know that 65, Jaden Jackson, in a lot of these clips, if not all of them, is lined up right there alongside Stone. And I think that those two guys together are going to be a dynamic force for Oklahoma, and we'll do some study on him as well down the road. But that's a guy that comes in about as polished as you could expect. Perhaps not as high a ceiling as what Stone has, but certainly a guy that has garnered some high expectations as a freshman too. So we'll take a look at him at some point as well. But both of those guys, now Sooners, now expected to play at least a role. What I think's great about the position that Stone is in is typically your best athlete along the defensive line, pound for pound, is going to be your 3-tech most of the time. Your nose guard, your run stuffer, typically your heaviest guy, and your most disruptive interior guys most likely going to be your 3-tech in a 4-man front. That's what I expect Stone to be. That's what he will be for Oklahoma, and should be a guy that is difficult to scheme away from, because he's able to not only control gaps and move as quickly as he does, but there are just so many things that Oklahoma's going to be able to do with him. The beautiful thing about it is, though, is as highly touted as he is, he comes in and immediately has Dominic Williams to look up to and to learn from. And I think that is something that's probably undervalued right now, because as talented as David is, there's going to be some growing pains, which is just natural for a freshman. They're almost always, without failure, there are some growing pains in being a freshman. There are the cases of the Caleb Downs of the world that still just light it up, and David Stone could be one of those guys. But I would say more likely than not, there are going to be some moments where the transition from high school into SEC football is going to be a little difficult. But with him sitting behind Dominic Williams on the depth chart, at least to start the year, the pressure really isn't there, but the ability for him to learn and come along at his own pace is there. And so I think that's extremely valuable for David. So let's transition here as we wrap up this final clip or two from his highlight reel, and let's take a look at one thing that we have. I have a couple of plays here from the spring game. Okay, so let's look at this first clip here. This is pretty late in the spring game, and we get a chance to see Stone with just a pretty simple, what looks like a pretty simple assignment for him. He's supposed to control inside gap here of the guard A gap, and he gets good hands on, and they're trying to work and cave him down and work to linebacker here. So the tackle's trying to double here, get to the second level. And Stone does a good job of hand placement. He's able to work himself in a low leverage position here, get underneath the guard here, and get his head across and in the gap and maintain gap integrity. Now, he is in great position right here to make a tackle. He is separated, free to hand. He is in position to make a tackle. Unfortunately, he buries his head, which, again, this is just a freshman. He's just a freshman, so this is one of those things that will come with time. But as far as being where he needs to be to make the play, excellent job. Here we're going to get a look at him getting to pass rush a little bit. This is just an opportunity for you to see that swim move that we've seen him work so well. He's flushing the quarterback almost immediately, and that is that's just for a guy his size. When you have somebody that can push the pocket at his size with his youth, that's something to be excited about. Here again, we're going to get to see him cross face on 72. He's going to work underneath with a different move this time and get in the quarterback's face. He forces a quick throw. At the end of the play, obviously, this is good for the offense. The quarterback's able to connect here. But the point is this is very quickly, he is right in the quarterback's face. It's a good rep from Stone. Something that obviously you can progress from and be excited about. So as this kind of rolls out, I think the expectations for Stone should be this. He is a guy that's going to flash. There are going to be times this year when he shows some things that you should really be excited about as a Sooner fan. I do think that there's going to be opportunities for him to make some impact plays. That's probably a guy that you want to see on the field on third down with a chance to get after the quarterback. And as he grows more comfortable in his new role, as he grows more comfortable in his body, putting on the weight that he has, I think that you're going to see him get more and more comfortable. And obviously, at some point, that comfortability is going to lead to success. And so this is a guy that you should be excited about. If you weren't already, I hope this film kind of helps you get to that point. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. I appreciate you so much for checking in and watching the show, watching the film here on David Stone. We'll have some more features on other players down the line. But if you're not subscribed over at OU Insider, right now is the best time to get over there. There is so much coming up on the horizon. You've got SEC Media Days right around the corner. Fall camp's going to get started in a couple of weeks, and we're less than 50 days now from the 2024 season kicking off. So lots of stuff on the horizon. You've got softball content, basketball content, everything you could want or need to know about Oklahoma athletics is over at OUinsider.com. Brandon and Parker do a fantastic job with the recruiting side of things. Jesse and I got everything covered from the team to softball, and Brody Lusk is doing an absolute knockout job covering basketball as well. So If you're wanting that kind of content, you can find it there. And then obviously at the OU Insider YouTube channel, which is where you found this. Make sure you subscribed here so you don't miss anything, because we're putting things out daily on this channel and over at OU Insider. So check us out. We appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.